So I wanted to first say thank you so much, Kelly, for allowing us to have the time with your kids. Wanted to introduce myself. My name is Tia Hatchett, and I'm the Family Engagement Coordinator. So what my role is in Future Forward is to best support you and your family in any way that I possibly can. Not just through literacy, but try to provide some tangible resources for you and your family and your community. So we work one-on-one with your student, with your child, and we're doing this virtual tutoring. And then everything that is being done within that lesson, my role is to make sure you know what's going on, and then give you tips on ways to be able to support your child at home. And that is through literacy in addition to social emotional learning tips. We're doing something just a little bit differently this year. So because everything is all virtual, we'll also host monthly virtual family events. They'll be live in addition to pre-recorded. So if it does not work with your schedule, then you can go back and go through the family events. What we do at our family events is that we do teach literacy skills, basic literacy skills to support your child at home. And then in addition to, we do a literacy focus, and then we do craft family activities. My role is to provide you with all the materials that you need. So I will be delivering the materials that you need to your home based off of your comfort level. We can sit down and chat a few moments. We could talk through the screen door. We could talk over the phone, text message, whatever method you would like. But my role is to make sure that I let you know what your child is doing and the great progress that they're making within Future Forward. What I'm going to share with you right now is just a format of an example of what we do and what you will receive. So here's something that you would typically receive in your bag. So this would come, can you see this already? I should ask you that first. Can you see
Yes,
that?
I can. Take home sheet.
Yes. So if you recall, earlier in the lesson, Chris went over and did a book walk. And that's something that we start off with at every family event that we ask all of our families to do. Actually, before you read any book, this is something that doesn't take a lot of time. It's conversation starters. This is get those critical thinking skills with your child. Have them relate the book to their daily life, get those questions generated in their head, small things that you can do. You can talk about it, or as you introduce that book, talk about it throughout the day, predict what will happen within that book, and those type of things. In addition to that, I'll scroll down a little bit. You'll also see the social emotional skill. We have one for each month. This particular month is focused on self-awareness. What we talk about, we would ask you to have conversations with your child to talk about their strengths and some of their areas in which they can progress in. We'll ask you to talk to your child about a time when they feel angry or frustrated, and talk through how to work through those areas that they may struggle in or they have a hard time with. And then it's also a time for you to ask like some of the things that they're interested in, if they're the empathy or sympathy or for those activities that they may like. Right, an example would be like some of their interests. If you see at the bottom of the screen, at you like animals. Oh, how do you feel about us going to volunteer at the animal shelter? Do you want to? What if we go and talk or read a book to the pets that are at the pet store or at the shelter and things like that? So, do you have any questions about that?
No, just making sure what's being taught in the school, if they're teaching emotional awareness, if the same language is being used in the tutoring session.
In the tutoring sessions.
Like in our school, we use words like that's expected behavior or unexpected behavior. So I just wanted to make sure that
It's the same language.
It's the same language being used.
Yeah,
Yeah. If I have a special needs son, if I go and I use my own language, like that's inappropriate or appropriate, how I was raised with, it doesn't mesh well with his learning, and so he's
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's another thing, that one of my roles is to be that bridge between home and school. So I would work and speak with the teacher and school staff to be able to have that whole wraparound type service, so that we're all on the same page. We do a lot of growth mindset, thinking in the power of yet. So those are the things that we will work on. And I want you to know that you're able to call me or text or email with any questions or anything that may be going on. Again, everything that is happening within the tutoring session, you'll know. We'll relay all that information to you with our weekly contacts that we'll have. Nothing overpowering. We don't want to we know that you are swamped. This is all new, unfamiliar territory for all of us. But we want to be able to reach out to just give you, hey, this is where they're going here. Here's where they are, and this is where we're going to the next level. They moved up 2 reading levels. They moved, or they worked well, or they mastered their rhyming. Here are some activities you can do with that, individualized for your child, to support that.
Perfect. No, that was pretty much it. Like I said, I have 2 kids that operate at 2 different levels and 2 different needs and 2 different focuses. So just making sure it's a tutoring program that is catered to the kid and not necessarily the kid needing to conform to.
Absolutely. And one great thing about the program that I really love is that we meet the child where they are and take them to where they need to be.
That's
and
awesome.
So we like to celebrate those small successes, and then allow them to be able to see the growth. I think that's one of the perks and positives about the program, as well, is that not just the parent, but also the child is able to actually see their growth.
Yeah, I think that's a huge confidence boost when they can see, because they don't know. They don't know how far they've come. They just know where they're at. And so for them to be like, well, I started here and here's where I'm at, it's a really big deal.
Yep. Well, I thank you. Again, like I said, you would have all this information, all of my information, to be able to go over. One other thing that I wanted to discuss before we end was the Mayan program that we're using. You can log in whenever you like, and you're able to see what your child is working on, the activities that they're doing, and you can model that at home as well. On one of Chris had a little sticky note on that book where they did rhyming words, or they did words that end with the letter D, and you can do that as well. You can go in and type in and continue with that lesson, and then at the end of those lessons, and when you go to the last page, if you scroll all the way over, then there's activities that you can do at home to help support that lesson that she was working on during the tutoring sessions. So again, it's just reinforcing what's already been done in the tutoring session to help support the child. And then that's in addition to those tips that will be sent home every week with the bags, and then the monthly tips is all low cost or no cost activities for you to do. Again, we don't want to put any extra stress on you, and we provide you with the materials that you need for your craft activities, and the craft activities goes along with all the literacy focus and the literacy focus are based off of the skills that are taught on the lesson plan. And there's fun themes. We have fun with food. We have a game night. We do really fun themes so that it's appealing to the kid and to the child, and the parent. And a lot of times they don't even know that they're still learning the activities, but it's an extension too. We want to make it that way.
I think it's the best kind of learning is when they don't know that they're actually learning.
Absolutely.
So I do have a technical question. Like if there is like a technical problem, if the app or whatever it is that we're trying to access isn't working or not compatible, is there like a number that I can call to say, hey, I can't seem to download this.
And that would be me. So I will provide you with the information. That's why I said we use
Be
all
best friends.
we use all methods of contact. We use the internet, with the emails, the text, the phone, in person. So all of those things, we really wanted to be able to have all those different methods of contact just in case things happen. So we totally understand that. We understand that there'll be internet connections, difficulties, blackouts, lagging. Like we take all of that in consideration, and we understand that maybe just, if 12 o'clock is just not the greatest time for tutoring, then we need to adjust the schedule to be able to support the child. And our goal is for a 45-minute session, but if we see that 45 minutes is just not working today, if you remember in the tutor session earlier this morning, Chris said, okay, what do you think? You think we should continue on, or you think we should stop? And you said, let's continue on. And he's like, nope, this is enough. This is enough for me. But we have to pick up on those cues, and that's our role, to be able to. And you know your son more than we know him, and so you were able to say, well, you can go a little bit further. So
you give him an out, that boy will take it. It doesn't even matter. He's like, yep, done. Like, yeah, and then he'll hold on to it. Like, no, but here's all the reasons why I'm not ready. Yeah, he's a smart boy.
One of the things that I love about the Myon app, adding that to our program, is that, again, you can go back in and log in and see what the child was working on, and then reiterate that. And so ask those questions, because the book, you can go back to pull up the book that he was working on to be able to retell that story, or to ask comprehension questions, or to elaborate more about it, and incorporate it throughout the day or the week. You can incorporate it throughout the week, and relate that to everyday living, your everyday life. And so
and those packets that you give, do you guys, when we did the online thing, the teacher just sent out an email that was like, hey, ask them this week, this week we're focusing on this. Here's some of my general ideas that you can ask your kid during dinner, that would help us be like, oh, look, you're studying butterflies today. Can you tell me what the stages of a butterfly is? Like, how does it go? When you send out that packet, are you sending out, I guess, conversation questions or conversation starters for parents?
Yes, all of that will be included in that packet that's delivered every other week. And so that will have all of the materials that the child will work on the following week on their tutoring session. So you'll have all of that information there with you. And then again, when you at the end of the lesson in the books on Myon, there's also other questions and activities to go along with that you can use throughout the week to help supplement for during the tutoring sessions, or when the tutoring sessions are not taking place.
Okay, so I get the full outline for the kids, but it's you have the teacher's workbook that had the answers in the back, and then like the cheat points like this. So that's what I was asking. Is like, yeah, I'll get her entire agenda, but do you have the teacher side that's like, hey, parent, ask your child this? Hey, okay.
So that sheet that I pulled up when it said the book walk, that's the take home. That's what you will have. That's not
what is this? What is that? Okay.
A lesson. And so you will have that. Here's what you're asking and why you're asking it.
Okay.
And it'll give you those questions. Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, because I think that's what is needed more for the parent. Because again, like I can walk away and fold laundries with one, and then if I feel like she struggled in that one activity, I can go back and say, well, let's talk about this book. But with the other son or with the other child, I need it. I need it to be able to go, okay, Toby, let's ask this question. Let me try this again. Because I have a busy life. I am working online, so I need the guidance to be able to cheat myself and be like, oh, okay, what are the 4 stages or the 3 stages of a caterpillar or whatever?
A cheat sheet and a guide to absolutely. Yeah. So again, like I said, I'm in the same boat as you. I need something to help me. And even a step further than that, even when it comes to the technical side, a cheat sheet of, okay, so here's how you log on to Myon, or here's how you log on to Zoom. And if this doesn't work, press this. Or here's you get the view and you need to be, I'm giving you control over the mouse, or all of those things. Yes. Good. So simple, something that you can just grab and you can, put it on your fridge with a magnet and have it, So, this is what happens when you can't do this view, or here's who you call when you need X, Y, and Z. Absolutely.
Yeah, it needs to, because yeah, if that is the key to success, because if a parent is stuck guessing, then it's going to be like, whatever, we'll deal with it tomorrow, or it's just not happening. Especially if you have kids that are all, like, multiple kids, different ages in school, all taking online, all having different curriculums. I'm fortunate that I have twins, so I know generally this week they're all working on clocks or time telling or counting money, but each teacher teaches it differently. So I need to basically stay on track with, okay, in Gabby's class, this is what we're focusing on. This is how she's teaching it. Here's the questions I need to ask. Toby's class, this is the same as well. So hopefully with the if you guys dummy it down or cheat sheet it up, that makes it more successful.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that's absolutely. I think the more community in this actually is just incredible.
Sure. And that's one of my roles. My role is to remind you that you're doing it. You just didn't know you were. So my role is to do that. And so we want to be able to be a support to you and not a burden. And that's one of those of the program. But I just wanted to get that. And when I say, like, Future Force staff is part of it, not as staff, not as the professionals, not as the experts, but saying, hey, me too, I have that child too, that I don't know how to help. And so just want to, again, just to be a support. We want to be a support to you, not a burden, because we know that these are hard times.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's great, because when you got one kid and you're like, this isn't working, there's a parent that's like, oh, we tried this, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe I should try, like, or I don't know how to connect with my kids. By the end of the day, they're exhausted and they just don't want to ask these questions. They're not engaged in it, or they're not finding it funny. How do I make this more interesting? They're, again, having that community and having that resource. I hate to say, like, the more the better, because sometimes it does get a little too much. But having an abundance of resourcing will help.
Yeah, and it's a resource, so it's there for you if you need it, if or when you need it. It's something that is not mandated and it's not time consuming. It's not, putting this pressure on you. Oh, one more thing that I can't make it to, but it is, oh, this is here for me. I am overwhelmed today, and I'm wondering if maybe we should have some topics of discussion, or maybe in our newsletter we can give out some tips for parents that are, from whatever feedback we get from those type of sessions, those chats, of just life that is happening. Like, we are very well aware that life is happening, and so it's hard sometimes to be able to say, okay, well, we really are trying to move the needle with your child in literacy when life is happening. And so my role is to be that pulse, and remind all of us that take some time and just ride slow just a little bit, to say we're all in this together, especially now. There's so much distance between us, but to create a community, to say that you are not alone, that this is happening, in Alabama, and this is happening, here in Wisconsin, or wherever the case may be. Just again, that sense of community, and to say that, yes, this program is to help my child. Yes, these are experts that has created the curriculum and all of those great things, but also this is a program that I can come and say, hey, life happened this week, and your family engagement coordinator can say, oh, I have a resource for that. Oh, not just a phone number, but I've already contacted a person. You won't get the automated, voicemail. This is you call Chris, and so do a little, not hand holding, but just walking alongside with you.
Right.
That's my role.